Hello, this is John Bowen, CEO of CEG Worldwide, and it's my privilege today to bring you this week's first word. And I'm going to talk about two areas that are near and dear to every professional's heart, whether you're a financial advisor or a coach. And it's getting results for your clients and having more people raise their hand to explore working with you. Today what I'd like to do is really focus on the raising your hand. And there's two parts that I want to go through in this short video. The very first is content marketing assets. What we're talking about here is what you need to do as a financial advisor. Not everything on this chart, and this is a chart a good friend of mine, Larry Chambers. Larry's one of the top writing coaches out there and a great consultant in his own right. We were sitting down when I was a financial advisor, and he helped me walk through this. You think about it, the x-axis is time. We go out to 3 years, and then the y-axis is the level of difficulty. And let me I'll blow it up here so it's easier to read. What happens is, right at the origin, the XY origin, what we have to do is we have to go ahead and develop our plan. We have to be really clear on who we're targeting, what our compelling value proposition is, what our positioning statements are, the classic elevator talk, call to action, our personal story. And once we have that, we want to update our website. In today's world, affluent individuals who are considering working with you, they're going to Google you. And they're going to look to see if you have a website. It doesn't have to be a massive one. It can actually be even a brochureware. It's always better to have more content, but brochureware is better than nothing. But it has to be aligned with what you're saying you're doing, or you don't exist. From there, the next easiest opportunity, once you've settled in on a primary focus for your market, is going ahead and contacting media resources. Now this can be, if you're working with dentists or physicians, you can work with their associations, their publications, high-tech executives, what I used to do when I was an advisor. These are great places where you can get name recognition. Now, one of the things I do want to point out is I'm not a big believer in this for most markets. Now, we've had many coaching clients do well in this, but you want to be careful of putting too much time and energy, because with all the different distribution routes and just getting your name mentioned is not that valuable. On the other hand, publishing your own articles, 800 to 1200 words, very powerful. Like to do at least a series. If you're going to hire a freelancer to work with you, it's at roughly $1 a word. From there, what I'd like you to do, and I'm going to jump ahead a little bit to the white papers. And I like white papers because, and you can see on our website, we like white papers a lot. Why? Well, you can get your opinion out. It's a lot of credibility. Do a little bit of empirical research. Typically 5,000 words, 4,000 to 5,000 words. We tend to sometimes go a little higher, 6,000 words. But it's not quite as powerful as a book, but almost all kinds of credibility. And once you've written it, it can be repurposed into articles, into easy electronic newsletter or magazine, monthly or quarterly newsletters, and doing presentations, either speeches or white papers. And you'll see us do that a lot. So getting that information out, great way. Remember, we're creating content that will ultimately get people to raise their hands. Also writing books, very, very powerful. But don't write a book until, it's typically about 50,000 words, until you know what you're going to say, who your market is, what your experience you're delivering, and what the clear call to action. Used to say don't bother with TV, radio, but I got to tell you, where you live in a celebrity culture, and creating that content that way that you can repurpose. Remember all this, we have to go through compliance and make sure that we're addressing all the regulatory requirements. But if you can link to those, boy, what credibility that has. So definitely consider it. Now, I want to go one more step, though, and finish off the video on how you use this content, because I see advisors mistakenly how to do it. And I want you to think about, there's really a 6-step process. The very first is making people aware. Webinars, white papers, articles, videos, all of this getting people to know who you are, what you do, what the experience is, and really providing them content, not trying to sell them, but providing content so that they connect with you. You know, they connect with you emotionally as they get to know who you are, and then logically when they understand the thoughtfulness that you're addressing it. I also like to shoot, this is a little less common, a welcome. When somebody goes and downloads for the first time on one of our websites, we send them a welcome email and let them know, we appreciate them coming to our site, what we're so passionate, why we're doing all this, and letting them know what the nurturing will be. In our case, a weekly newsletter. But whatever it is you're doing, you should have those steps. Again, we don't have the ability to always do it locally. So if we're going to use the technology, we've got to start conversations. Then consideration, what's your call to action? One of the most powerful calls to action that we teach in coaching is a second opinion. That you'll take a look at where a prospective client is, where they want to go, what are the gaps, and evaluate whether or not their current providers really doing a good job for them. And if not, then you'll consider working with them and explore that possibility, but you limit your practice to those families successful families that you can make a huge difference. And if the current provider isn't right and you're not the right one, you promise to point them in the right direction. Okay, getting people to raise their hand at events or online, this is a very powerful. We do it in our coaching program or on our webinars, and on our websites, we call it an impact assessment, and we're doing it for financial advisors. It's a very valuable consulting. If we were going to charge for it, it would definitely be a few $1,000s, taking a look at where they are, where they want to go, their gaps in their practice, and what we would do if we were in their shoes to accelerate their success. We make sure we always give a minimum of 3 recommendations, and irrespective of CEG, and then we look to see if any of the coaching programs would help them. If it would, we'll tell them what the impact would be, how it would accelerate. That's what we're looking to you to do. You have to have a clear path along the way. The validation is delivering a world-class experience. Clients want a clear process, and the engagement, they become a client and they get that experience, or if not, they go back to nurturing. That's how you combine content marketing and conversational marketing to build a steady stream of pre-qualified, pre-endorsed clients. Your future clients are counting on you. Don't let them down. Wish you the best of success.